Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Truth lies, shenanigans. 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 Tune in to TLS. Yeah, tune in to TLS. It's the TLS show. Coming to you live from the TLS show.
Hey, welcome to Truth Lies Shenanigans Podcast, social commentary, hot topics, and amazing guests with a ton of fun and shenanigans along the way. Today, we're diving into the mystery of Carlee Russell, the Alabama woman who called 911, claiming there was a child on the highway before disappearing for a couple of days. And a major LA hospital is hit with a civil rights investigation for mistreating black women. Then with India sending rockets to the moon like they're ordering takeout, is the U.S. overspending?
They're ordering takeout.
I think Rob V knows where I'm going with this. All right. If it's your first time tuning in for our new time, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, you can watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch TV, and TruthLiesShenanigans.com. But we'll be checking your comments on YouTube and Facebook. Just search at TLSLiveShow. Also look for our official audio podcast Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Pods Network, that's PODZ, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let me introduce you to my fun co-hosts. First up, we have our nature lover, gamer, rock star, coming to you from Ontario, Canada, Rob B. Rock.
Happy Wednesday, my friends. What a great week. I attended a family reunion with my wife, my mom, my daughter, and my granddaughter over the weekend. And I saw a lot of people that I haven't seen in years. This is the largest social gathering that I've attended in the last couple of years. So that was interesting in and of itself, but it was outdoors, a lot of stuff for people to do. And it was brilliant to see my granddaughter meeting some of her cousins for the first time and just playing with them. Just brought back a lot of memories of, your cousins usually are your first friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly.
We have the pleasure of hosting our nieces and granddaughter for the weekend. So it should be a really fun time.
Wow.
Very nice. That's
Family
cool that you had a
reunions.
family reunion. I know, that's not a heard of thing over here, but that's so cool. I love
do you
that.
mean
It's
it's not-
like a
really?
big,
Did you wait a minute?
not
My
in
family-
America like that.
Wait a minute. Did you just
Dude.
say that family reunions is not a thing in America?
Not anymore. When's the last time family reunion?
I know a lot of people that just had some family reunions. I know a few. I mean,
Oh, really?
granted,
Oh.
in this day of Facebook, this age of Facebook, it's lessening. Yeah, and as the older generation is disappearing, of course,
Yeah,
they're not keeping up with it. So
many reasons. Yeah, they're
And
not
it's
keeping
funny
up
you
with
should
the
mention that
tradition.
because I was approached by an uncle saying, this is really great. He said, but I wish that some of the younger people would start taking up the responsibility of hosting this.
mhm.
At which point, I wish I would have
Yeah.
been on my A game because I would have said, well, then why don't you ask your son who's retired? I'm still working.
I
Literally.
mean, it's if I had to take over, setting up a family reunion, that's a lot of work.
That is
I
a
mean,
lot of work.
It's a lot of work. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be the one.
Oh,
It probably takes
was great.
years of planning.
And if I'm honest, there's only a few of my family that I actually like. So,
but you got to invite them
cares?
all.
Yeah, we love them all.
Well, I love my whole family. Yes.
I love them all. I like a few.
Tolerate.
There we go. All right. Next
Yeah.
up, our college student, model, business owner, streaming from Atlanta, Georgia, Gianni Storm.
Hello, guys. I've missed you. So I've been good. I've been feeding birds. I've gotten a new plant.
You feed birds?
Nice.
Yes, I
Like, do
just
you
got a
hand
bird
feed them,
feeder.
or do you? Okay, I was gonna
I
say.
wish.
All right,
I'm
you
trying to
wish.
train. Yeah, I'm trying to train these crows that I have nearby to speak, but I have to have them to trust. I have to get them to trust me first. I know that that sounds weird, but you can actually get
No.
birds to trust you. Oh,
Yes.
thank you, Rob. Thank you. See?
So
Yes,
now
Rob
crows
is
can
and
get
support.
ravens are very
birds.
Rob
intelligent
is our
birds, and you
nature
can
lover.
absolutely.
I introduced Rob
True.
as the nature lover, so of course he's on your
See?
side.
Okay, true.
You can develop relationships with them. We try to by leaving shiny bits and pieces of fruit out also.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing. I've left little pieces of mango and grapes and like little dimes and stuff like that. But I don't
Wait,
know.
so
Crows
Johnny,
are kind of, they have an attitude.
I
They're
just
like
need you
rude.
not to turn into the pigeon lady in New York. Like, can you
I'll
just?
be like a really fashionable, like I'll look like a high fashion model pigeon lady. It'll
Please don't do that.
it'll work.
The different twist on
No.
Cruella de Vil, but with the crows and ravens.
Oh, please,
Exactly.
please, I'm gonna have to
won't
beg you
kill
not to
them.
do that.
I'll be their friend. No, I'm kidding. But no, it's been good. I've been enjoying my summer. Like I feel like this is the first summer I've had that's been just relaxing and just kind of humble, and I've been soaking it up. So it's been
That's good.
good.
To hear. That's good. I'm glad you're enjoying
That's
your summer.
awesome.
All right, and I'm of course your host, Neo Nix. So I haven't played video games in a while. Like, really played video games. Usually I'll just jump on real quick, play something, and then stop. So earlier this week, I was playing NBA 2K in GM mode, right?
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
GM mode is like you basically manage a team as a general manager for years.
Exactly.
And I thought I could just jump on, really play really quickly and get off. And I I look up, it's freaking
GM
5:00 in the
mode?
morning, and I'm like, what?
Uh-huh.
Oh my
Oh
God!
my
I was like, what the
goodness.
hell? And I didn't, and I wanted to go to sleep. I wanted to go to sleep, and I was like, but I gotta just finish this season out. I gotta see what my trade pick, get my trade, see what my
No.
draft picks are, and finish this last trade that I want to do. And I was like,
Addicting.
Nice.
no, it got worse because my wife
That's
woke up
funny.
at 6:00 in the morning, going to the studio, and she's like,
Mm.
"You're still up?" It's
Oh
like,
my God.
I just wanted to finish the last season.
So what platform were you playing this on, my
You
friend?
went down the rabbit hole.
PS4 is PS4 is PS4.
It's PS4.
Okay.
But I gotta say, it messed me
We
up the
love a
whole week.
throwback.
I've been playing catch up on my sleep all week. I've been out of it. It's I can't do that to
Same,
myself
yeah.
anymore. I got so much work to do. That's why I stopped playing video games as much as I do anyway,
Right.
because it just takes so much
At
of your
this-
time.
Because
a
at
lot, a
this
certain
age,
amount of time.
at this age, staying up late like that takes more of a toll on you than a night of young drinking,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
It just
I can't.
a night of young
Really?
drinking. You wake up the next day and kind of go, okay, well, we'll do it again later tonight. But not sleeping when you're
Oh,
in your
no.
late 40s, you wake up and it
Can't do it
it
anymore.
sucks. It's worse than a hangover.
It's
Oh
horrible.
my
Function.
goodness.
It's
Can't
horrible.
function.
It's hard. It's hard.
I feel some of
It's
you.
so
And it's
tired.
even worse for me because I'm terrible at taking naps. I have trouble taking naps during the day because it's
Me
the
too.
sunlight. I can't do it. So
It's just weird. Yeah, I don't like taking naps during the day.
Yeah.
But it's good for you, they
Yeah.
say.
Tis.
all right, let's go ahead and get into the show. We got some hot topics, all hot topics today, no guests, but let's get into it.
Truth Lies Shenanigans.
All right, we got to get into this Carlee Russell case. She's a nursing student. She's a nursing student who spots a toddler on the highway, calls 911, and then she's gone, disappeared. A couple of days later, she's suddenly back. And we're not even sure if there's ever a toddler that existed. Here's a rundown. Carlee Russell, 25-year-old nursing student from Alabama, she disappeared after reporting a wandering toddler on the highway. Yeah, there's video of her getting out of her car on the highway, and she just reappears at her parents' home 2 days later. So the night of her disappearance, she calls 911 and reports a toddler on the road, calls a family member, screams, and the call disconnects. Police arrive, they find Carlee's wig, her cell phone, her purse, all in her car, in her running vehicle. There's no Carlee, no child. And another twist, she had bought snacks from Target earlier,
Okay.
but those snacks weren't in the car. Now, you would think, if you bought snacks and you're running out to see a toddler on the road, you're not going to grab the snacks and then run off with the snacks to check on the toddler. Anyway, in a police press conference Wednesday, earlier today, police say they found no evidence there was ever a wandering kid. They also said Carlee had made some interesting internet searches related to Amber Alerts and the movie Taken. Now, when Carlee returned, right, she described the abduction to the police, claiming a man with orange hair forced her into a car, then into an 18-wheeler. She escapes, gets recaptured, and she claims she was forced to undress and photographed by this person in the orange hair, and she somehow got away and then walked home. So police have requested a second interview, but she's apparently not interested in a second interview. So I got to ask, was Carlee Russell really abducted, or is this all just a hoax? Let's get your take, Robbie.
All right. So let's preface this by saying it's important to note that the investigation is ongoing and there will be more information as this progresses. So what I found is, I found examples that support the claims that she was kidnapped. Her family claimed that she was abducted.
Yeah.
Her mother
I didn't mention that. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. So her mother mentioned in an interview that her daughter had to physically and mentally fight for her life. So again, these are claims. Family believes that she was taken against her will. The disappearance and subsequent return are a little, they do raise a little suspicion about the potential abduction. Now, police have not explicitly stated that they're even looking for a suspect or treating the case as an abduction at this point. Police said they haven't found any evidence of the kid, like you mentioned. The footage showed Carlee Russell walking home alone down the sidewalk in her neighborhood before returning home. And
yeah, I think she had previously claimed she was dropped off or something.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. And I didn't come across what you just shared as far as her internet search history being a point of interest. It does make it sheds a bad light on it, or a suspicious light. If these events actually transpired, I'm grateful, or I'm sure that her family is eternally grateful that she managed to escape. I would.
But do you think they were real?
Do you think it's a hoax?
I don't have enough info. There's not enough information that has been shared yet, but based on what has been provided thus far, it is a little suspect to me. I find that it is a little suspect. This
bitch is crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. She's crazy. It's not real. I don't believe it. Gianni.
That's what you think? Okay. I mean, this is such a fun story, but if it's true, it's horrible. But I think that it's fun because what if she's telling the truth about possibly something happening to her, but it just didn't happen in that way? Mm-hmm. So I was thinking that, but I do think it's a hoax in the sense that even you can see the footage of her car, like you don't see a child on the side road.
Yeah, you can't see it. Right. There's nothing in the video that shows that.
There's no child there. Yeah. And then also there was like an audio from the police that I believe Carlee actually went to a Red Roof Inn hotel 12 minutes away from the location and called her family, and her family pulled up there and told the front desk, and then the front desk called the police and told them what happened. So it's kind of like there's like little weird holes that are like poking this story. But this was the quickest. I don't know. It's a very interesting story. I think it's a hoax. I think what happened wasn't what happened, but I would like to know the truth, though. I would like to know the truth.
I gotta say, when I posed this topic, I was like, matter of fact, it was my wife who suggested it. She's like, did you hear about this lady Carlee? And and I was like, yeah, okay, I don't know. Something seems a little weird about it. And at that point, I think when she mentioned it to me, Carlee hadn't made it home. She was just missing. She had been missing for a couple of days at that point, and I was like, it seems okay, well, maybe they'll find her. And I guess the internet was abuzz with it. And I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
But then she shows up. I'm like, what the? She just shows up. And then you hear that she just walked up. And then I'm like, nah, something's not right. I almost immediately thought something wasn't right. Because who just walks up to their house?
It's so weird.
And then come to find out she didn't. That's not even what happened.
She didn't walk up?
Well, I'm sorry, she did walk up. But no, I'm sorry. I was thinking about the Red Roof Inn that you're talking about.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So
Yeah, the whole thing is a fake.
yeah. So but something's up. Something's up. Go ahead, Rob. You were going to say something. I
I was
interrupted
just
you.
going to say, at least as far as media coverage is concerned, I know that when we had covered Gabby Petito a little while ago, one of the
Mhm.
issues that was brought up was that women of color don't garner the same kind of media representation. Well,
Right.
Carlee sure did. So in that respect, I'm really, really hoping that it's not a hoax.
Horrible.
I don't know. I don't know that she got the same level of media until
Oh no, definitely not the
the
same
questions, until she showed up and questions started showing up.
level. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
It
Because
got-
I hadn't heard anything about it until she
Until
just
she
showed
came
up.
back.
I don't know about
Oh,
you
no.
guys.
No.
I
I
like what
definitely
Kevin
heard
Faxton
about
is
it
dropping here.
when she was
Bad
missing.
acid trip or mental health issue. Bad.
That
Oh
was
my
my
God,
first thought.
yeah.
My first thought was a
Like
mental health issue.
hallucinating.
That
I
was
was thinking that too.
that was my first thought, that something was going on. She had a mental break, but then it seems a little more planned than that. A little bit more planned, especially with her internet searches. That's what kind of threw it
Yeah.
off for the mental break for me, the mental
For
health
it to
issue,
be planned, she would have to incorporate other people. So
which I think
No.
she may have with her family. I don't know. I'm iffy on her
she
family
would
though.
have to. She would have to, because what would be the purpose of doing this hoax? Unless she was seeking attention or unless she was seeking some kind of gain, like financially material gain. So
Well, Johnny, I know
I
that
don't
when we
think-
had discussed this earlier, you had brought up something about like a fundraiser that was
oh yeah.
like a GoFundMe. that
Yeah.
had been-
Yeah, she had a GoFundMe.
She had GoFundMe going.
Yeah, and it was about
Mhm.
it was like close to $50,000. But you know that there's different fundraisers, so there's different people seeking funds in her honor, so to speak. So
That's true.
I
That-
don't. I mean, and in the case that she is found, that she can still receive the money because the point was to find her. So I don't know. I mean, that would be a weird cash grab. Like that's the weird. You're a horrible person. Like that's weird. And then for it to be this big, I feel like as far as media attention, somebody had to keep pushing it. I mean, social media was pushing it a lot. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of missing Black women that weren't pushed as much as this Carlee Russell story. So it was just weird.
And
Like,
you're
what
right.
is
And that
behind
was
it
my
all?
point, because, like I said, it wasn't
Mhm.
pushed until she was found.
Until
For
she
me,
came back.
like I said,
Yeah.
you said you heard about it, Gianni, which
I've
is
heard
great.
about it.
You
Yeah.
heard about it beforehand. I hadn't heard about it until I think Saturday. I saw it come across my feed. And then my wife was like, hey, have you heard about this? And I was like, yeah, I heard about it, but what? So
It's an all-around mystery.
I don't know. I just think, and you can tell by the police. I was watching the press conference, and you could tell by their reaction. They're like, I'm just giving you factual information. We don't have enough
Yeah.
information at this point, but you really get the impression that they don't believe anything this woman's saying. So,
Could she get in trouble for this? Like if it's a hoax?
Oh my God.
I mean,
yes.
what about
filing
your
a-
boy? Your boy, what's his
Filing a
name?
false
Jussie.
police report.
Some people are likening it to the whole Jussie Smollett thing. Some people that are like super pissed off about it and think that she's lying about the whole thing. They're like, this is the Jussie Smollett situation.
So go ahead and remind our people about Jussie Smollett.
So if you guys forgot about Jussie Smollett, that was the actor from Empire.
Yeah, he was on
Who,
Empire.
yes, he faked allegedly. Jussie
he
faked
faked.
his own attack in, I believe it was Chicago subway. I don't remember.
I don't remember
And
where it was either.
yeah, allegedly, the long story short, the story came out that he planned the attack himself, and it wasn't real. It was a hoax, his own attack.
I
that
mean,
became
the two
viral.
people who he paid. There was actually a paper trail, a money trail, where he paid these two guys
Yeah.
to attack him, and then he claimed that it was Trumpers who did it.
Yeah.
And so he could get
Yeah.
and I'm not even clear now that I would think, as Kevin Thax said, might have been a mental health issue going on. but he did plan it. So
With-
I mean, this could
with
be a mental
Jesse?
health issue. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, this feels more like it could have been even a drug-induced. Like, mushrooms are the latest thing. So maybe
Mushrooms have been
They're the
around since
latest
the
thing.
60s.
They've been
What are you talking about? Before that.
No.
Okay, no.
Since the-
Mushrooms have been around since Homo sapiens monkeys eat ripened fruit and mushrooms to get them.
It's talking about the latest thing.
It's the latest drug.
Maybe it's picked up a little bit in the U.S.
Popular.
Maybe, but I don't know
Because
about
people see it as like wholesome, or I don't know. I don't like anything that makes me trip out. I don't like that. So stay away from drugs, kids.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I don't know.
think it's a hoax, guys.
I think she's lying. Kevin Thaxton says she's lying. Jose says something is not giving.
Jiving.
Oh,
Giving.
you know,
Oh, jiving. Yeah.
a G, a
true.
J, it's all the same. What?
Oh.
It's not
Aw.
jiving about this.
I want to
story.
call you a jive turkey right now.
No, a give turkey. You gotta
give
become a
turkey.
give
A give
turkey. All right.
Yeah. It looks like most people don't believe her, and I feel bad. I feel bad.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Especially if the story is true. I mean, I would feel
Yeah,
absolutely
that would
horrible for
suck.
making fun of it like this, but
Yeah.
on the surface, it seems
All right, people,
This
watch out
doesn't
for the
matter.
man in the orange hair, grabbing little kids and black women off the highways.
Yeah, and to that too, be careful who you pick up in your car. Like, I literally gave a kid and
I
a
was being
mom a
sarcastic.
ride. So
Ooh.
yeah,
You gave who? You did what?
I gave a ride. Yeah, recently, like last week, to IHOP. I did it. I've done it. But just
I
be
mean-
careful. I have good discernment. Like, I'm
Do you now?
Do you?
protected. I'm protected.
Do
yes.
you?
I have great discernment when it comes to people and who I should be dealing with, for the most part.
Oh.
So yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes I know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, how many relationships have you had? Just out of curiosity.
Four serious
What?
ones.
That's good. That's not bad. Okay.
Yeah.
That's decent
5.
discernment.
Well, she
Yeah.
had enough sense to get out of them. So, I mean, yes, that's
Well, that's great discernment.
That's true. That's very true.
that is
You
discernment.
guys are silly. That's something.
All right.
Truth Lies
This is Truth Lies Shenanigans.
Oh man.
You like me, Robbie? I had to reach for mine.
Right?
This
I don't
is
know what it
this is
is.
lies.
I think I'm gonna put lies
This
because
is lies. She's
first
lying.
of all,
Straight up
I'm
lying.
saying
I'm not even gonna call it
shenanigans
shenanigans.
because some of the stories just don't seem to be adding up, and I don't want to
So
call her a liar.
You're in the middle. This is straight up lies.
I'm in the middle.
and we finally get the so white woman tears, but for black women, and it's a hoax. So don't do it. Like, if it's really gonna get this amount of media coverage, it has to be true. Like, don't embarrass us
Yep.
out here, please.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. Good debate. All right, Robbie, you've got India making strides back to the moon.
Truth Lies
Absolutely.
Shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, if you weren't aware, Friday afternoon, July 14th, the ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, successfully launched the Chandrayaan-3 moon lander and rover mission. And now it's going to take about 42 days for it to reach the moon. So, this mission is the successor to the Chandrayaan-2 mission, which launched successfully in 2019, but crashed during its landing attempt. If successful on this attempt, India would join the ranks of Russia, the United States, and China in achieving a controlled lunar landing. So, a huge accomplishment for a nation. The 2019 launch cost $140 million US, while the 2023 mission cost $75 million. So, inflation wasn't a factor in rolling out the new rocket, and they were able to do it for less than the cost of a blockbuster movie. I think that Blade Runner 2049 had a $75 million budget. Crazy.
Oh wow.
Right? So, in contrast, NASA's Viper lunar rover mission, scheduled to launch in November of 2024, was initially costed at $250 million, but has already increased to $435 million. The Artemis 3 mission, which is to put man on the moon again for the first time in 50 years, has seen its budget blow up to $13 billion. That's right, with a B, my friends. So I've got to know, like at this time, is it time to outsource space exploration? Because these price differences are staggering.
I thought
Start-
they've been doing that.
Let's start with Gianni.
I thought they should have been doing that. Like, why are you taking our money? Are you serious?
How many
But
days?
no.
Out of curiosity, how many days did you just say it's going to take for the rover to get to
Yeah.
the moon? You said 42.
42 days. 42 days for it to arrive. Yeah.
I just want
Impressive.
Go ahead, Gianni.
Mm-hmm.
So, initially reading the article, knowing the spending and budget for these space exploration, like just that they're in the fact that they're in the $1 billion budgets, it started triggering my sense of survival, because it's like there's still so much more. And I know that this is kind of off topic, but there's so much more to fund other than space exploration. And I know
What?
that a part of taxpayers' money. Yeah. Wait, I gotta
No, there's
say it.
nothing else to fund.
No.
That's it. That's all we should be funding.
Yeah, no. Housing, the inflation prices, the deadly virus that we still don't talk about anymore. Like, there's so much that the child trafficking, there's so much that we don't fund and research into. But space exploration, we're all for it. We're putting billions of dollars and giving Elon Musk money, and no, I'm tired of it.
Oh,
I don't think
wait a minute. I just
I
want to
think
correct one thing. I don't know that. I don't know that we're giving Elon Musk money.
That was a
It's-
private venture.
Yeah.
I know
But
that is
if he comes
different.
up with a good
No.
design and patent, then he can sell that.
Right. That's
Space
You can sell it to
organization.
NASA, exactly. But in essence,
well, no,
all
not
I'm just
necessarily to
saying is-
NASA, but to the world.
Oh,
So
What do you
one of the
mean?
things. So basically, NASA uses a lot of the technology that they develop. They license it out, so they, that's how they fund some of their projects. So, what did they develop? Like Tempur-Pedic. They developed. I think
oh, okay.
there's some other things that the space foam. There's a few other technologies that they developed as part of their studies, and then
Okay.
they do make a little bit of money off of that.
From those
Just-
things.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. You
And
learn
so
something new.
Robbie is saying that Elon Musk can do the same thing, and they make
So-
billions of dollars from whatever he ends up creating that's brand new.
But the question is, are taxpayers like you and I who pay our taxes, are we paying for some of this space exploration?
I mean, we're paying for the Artemis
Of course, you're
project.
funding it.
We're funding all of it.
See?
We're funding the NASA projects. We're funding some of the projects that Elon Musk is working on to some degree. It's just not a direct funding. So we're not
Right.
giving him money to do things. It's more support. So
No, not Elon Musk. I was kind of being funny with
Oh.
that. But I
Okay.
meant more so in general space.
but yes, the taxpayers
was
are
being funny
paying
with
for this. So the billions of dollars that Robbie is talking about, the taxpayers are getting the bill for that.
And
Mhm.
I'm saying we should reallocate those funds, because.
So we should
But
not
I'm
be.
curious.
Wait, you're saying altogether, just stop exploring space.
No, because I was opposing to that. You guys know I'm a dynamic.
So what?
There's a
You're saying
dynamic
so?
in me.
So
I
wait,
like exploration. I like space exploration because in space exploration, from my opinion, I think you can find certain maybe materials or certain things that you can find in space that we can utilize on Earth, or even space, like certain planets and the moon itself. Maybe one day people want to live there. Who knows? I know that there's a reason why we're going to space, but I'm saying that there's so much problems here that we're avoiding, that our money that we're paying for as hard-earned citizens, we need to reallocate it so
But
that
see-
we don't.
but
worry
when
about
you
it.
say
Johnny, that- to me,
reallocate, that
that's-
means eliminating space exploration to do it.
No,
Well,
it doesn't.
Rob gave an
No, it
alternative
doesn't, because
about.
this gets back to the crux of my question.
Okay.
Because if India is doing it for a fraction
Thank you.
of the cost, that is investment from the
You don't need to
taxpayer
spend.
that is then being diverted to other sources. Because even if they're spending $250,000 versus $13 billion, there's a lot that you can accomplish with your infrastructure and capital projects with $13 billion. So
or even if
to
you
me,
need to raise
Wait a
funds
minute.
outsourcing it, that's a part of the option too. There's rich billionaires that are
All right.
going under the water. They'll go in space.
All right, so let me get into it then. So let me get into it. So
get into it.
as you guys know, in a former life, I worked at NASA. so,
Yes.
so no longer work there, but I worked at NASA. So let's
Yep.
first start off with labor costs in India, significantly lower than the U.S. So it's not just about, and it's not just about labor, it's infrastructure, materials, technology, all that plays a simple role. So yeah, trying to compare the cost of is like, comparing the cost of building a house in the suburbs to building a skyscraper in downtown Manhattan. The costs are
Okay.
going to be
I
lower,
mean,
right? So
true. That's true.
then if we're talking success rate. First of all, you said, and I had to look this up real quick, you said 42 days it's going to take to get to the moon.
Mhm.
The Artemis project will take 8 to 14 days. So clearly there's some cost
but
cutting.
now
I
you're,
mean,
but you're
yeah.
not. Now
So
you're
if we're
comparing
talking
apples
man
to
to,
oranges.
if we're talking man
That's
to
what
the
I
Compare
heard.
it to
moon,
the Viper. Compare it to the Viper mission, not the Artemis, because the Artemis is a manned mission. So it does need to get there much quicker. So the lunar rover, compare it to the Viper. And the Viper mission is the one that was $435 million versus the $75 million.
Okay.
So even at that, $350 million is a lot of money that you can put into education.
well, you
healthcare,
brought up Artemis.
housing. Oh, I
I
just
mean,
brought it up.
you said comparing apples and oranges. You're the one who brought it up. So I'm saying,
Hey,
I'm just
man.
comparing what you brought up.
It's a good point, but it's true. I think that there is a way you can still spend less on space travel while also implementing outsourcing. Like that has to be a good alternative to it, because not everybody wants to spend their money on space. There's elderly that don't even care about any of that. Well, that's kind of ageist.
let's
But
talk-
in general,
Let's talk
there's people that
success
don't
rate.
care.
So while India's been successful launching cost-effective missions, not all of them have been successful. Their last one, Chandrayaan-2, faced significant setback when the lander crashed due to a
Yes.
software glitch.
And they identified the 3 key issues that caused the failure. They identified them. So let's be honest. How many rockets has the U.S. launched unsuccessfully in order to get what they did? India
That's where
is
I was
new to
going.
space exploration. They're new to it.
$75 million new, right? So that's why.
Okay, so,
we don't even know if this one's
$140
gonna be successful. It just launched, right?
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But then
Right.
the Chandrayaan-2 is 140 mil. Chandrayaan-3 is 75 mil. That's $215 million.
right.
Still half the cost of the Viper mission.
Okay. My next question then.
Wow.
So, and Kevin
Crazy.
Thaxton says India is one of my new favorite spacefaring nations. But my question is, if you're taking a trip to the moon, are you doing on an India Space Airlines or are you taking NASA? Which one are you guys taking? NASA
Well,
or Indian Space
neither.
Airlines? Oh,
Depends
neither.
on how much my ticket is.
Gianni's not going to the moon. Gianni's like, fuck that.
I'm scared. You guys keep failing stuff. Every time you guys put a rocket up, it blows up. Well, not every time, but Rob was right. Like there's often it blows up. So I don't know, Neil.
And
No,
I
not,
think-
not
And then space shuttle.
whichever mission is using the most Canadian technology. How's that? Because we have a space program also.
which I think is an NASA actually utilizing. Because I think I
That's
met a
funny.
Canadian astronaut when I was there. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. So,
But
but
we
okay,
contribute significantly to what goes up.
yeah. And then they're offsetting costs by going private. So after the space shuttles, were decommissioned, they switched to private investments instead to
Good.
pay for some of the things. So they focused on certain missions. And then, when we're talking, you said Artemis, right? I know you said this apples and oranges, but you brought up Artemis, so I'm gonna use it. That rocket is not only going to the moon; the rocket is intended to go to Mars and beyond. So that's why they're spending so much money on that particular rocket. For that rocket, the moon is actually just a stopping point for Mars. So if we're comparing it, that's like comparing local bus service to like international airlines. You can't really compare. Okay, I might be all right. That might be a stretch. That might be a little bit of a stretch.
A bit of a stretch.
But you know, my point is, while it's impressive that India's making strides in space exploration, you know, and they're spending a lot less doing it. I don't know. Like you said, it's not quite apples. It's not apples to apples. So.
But do you agree with Rob's question that they should start outsourcing as opposed to taking?
They're already doing that. They're already only. You know, no, absolutely not.
Why?
Because part of listen. So the reason, if you go back to the space race between the Soviet Union and the U.S., is we're trying to establish ourselves as the leader because that is the future. And you know, the next country, that's why India, China, all the rest of them are getting involved in space exploration, is because it can help your country back home.
Established. Okay.
Right. I mean, all of the technology that's being developed, you know, the United States had, after the space race, the United States had a huge increase in just technology. And I mean, we had a boom in economy and everything after the space race. So
the engineering and manufacturing required.
It was crazy how fast the U.S. moved from then.
Okay.
So there's a value to exploring space and being the first to getting there, and there's a huge value. So it's good for your country
Improved
to be
avionics. When you find fuel efficiencies in the
almost like
rocket
an
boosters, that gets incorporated into commercial airplanes down the line. So there are definitely benefits that come from all of the engineering required to go into space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all I'm saying
I like that
is
point. I like that.
I'm taking NASA Airlines over India Airlines. That's all.
You would.
Depends on the price
How
of the
about
ticket,
China
my friend.
Airlines?
I'm definitely not taking
Yeah.
China Airlines. Shoot,
Why
I'll fly
not
China
China?
Airlines. I'll fly
They're more
China
developed
Airlines
than the
before I
US
fly the US.
sometimes.
China Space
Yeah.
Airlines. I don't know. No, China. Yeah, I do it before India Airlines. That's for sure. Yeah, just only because they've been doing it longer.
I still like the US.
And Russian Airlines too. Shoot.
Yeah. So one thing that I did find interesting, that there are Twitter trolls out there that are saying that the ISRO spent about $80 million producing a lunar rover landing movie.
Really?
What?
Okay.
Trolls going to be
So we
trolls.
can see
Trolls are going to be trolls.
Goodness gracious, that's ridiculous.
Stupid.
All right. So let's see. Any comments online? All right. No, just Kevin Thaxton. He says Tang. Oh, that's right.
Heck yes.
I
That's
forgot
where it
about
comes from.
Tang. I don't know if you remember Johnny Tang, the drink Tang.
Oh, I love Tang. I used to
And-
drink Tang.
And even astronaut meals, you can purchase astronaut meals now from different
Yeah,
manufacturers.
freeze dried
It's basically
meals.
just
Mhm.
What? Ew.
freeze dried meals. Oh yeah. Oh Johnny,
Ew.
try it. Like the freeze
Try
dried
it?
meals. Like the
You've never had
rations and
freeze
stuff
dried
are
anything?
amazing.
No.
Oh my God,
What is
Gianni.
that even?
Try it.
Gianni.
You mean like the powder?
You need to
like the
come to.
powder?
You need to go to
No.
the Air and Space Museum in DC.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's great stuff. Great stuff.
Okay. I'll try
And
it.
walk away with
I
your
gotta
ice
look-
cream in a little silver bag.
Yeah. All right, you know about that. Have you
Right.
been there?
I'm sorry,
Rob?
I do.
Have you been there in
We
space?
have Science North. We have Science North here in Sudbury.
Okay.
When I was
okay.
a kid, I went to Cape Canaveral. When I was a kid, I remember going there. But I've always
Nice.
been fascinated by
Space.
space exploration, all the innovations that come with it, and yeah, like astronaut
Aw.
meals, like what? Food in a pouch, and it tastes. It's a paste that tastes like this. Amazing.
So you
Let's
went to
try
Cape
it.
Canaveral? That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I went there as an adult. I actually was on campus. I got to see the beaches and stuff. Man, it's like they got like, was it 40 miles of like pristine, unused beaches? Crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Beautiful.
All right. Is this
Nice.
truth?
Truth
Lies, shenanigans.
Well, this is absolutely true.
I mean, it's
Truth, my friends.
true,
True.
but it's true that the spending in the U.S. is appropriate, in my opinion.
Inappropriate.
I mean, okay,
And most
having
people
worked at
would agree.
NASA, there's a lot of red tape in general, and you know, having worked or seen and seeing
There
behind the
could be
scenes.
some. So
Yeah.
there are some financial efficiencies that could be found at NASA.
There
is what
are.
you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
There
Okay.
are. Yes, you're absolutely correct. There are some efficiencies, and you're probably right that the Chandrayaan is exceptionally financially efficient, probably because they don't want to spend that much money, but they also do take, because of all of the failures, the lost space shuttles and all of the explosions, they do take a few extra steps, required steps to ensuring that they're safe. So,
Yeah.
just saying that there's a value to that. All right.
Good luck, India. Good luck.
Yeah.
I
good
know,
luck.
India. That's exciting. Aw.
Yeah, good luck.
Yay.
All right. Gianni, so Black people aren't being treated well in hospitals. What's up?
Truth Lies Shenanigans.
Yeah. So actually, we may have heard some stories of the ill treatment of Black and brown people in healthcare and disparities in how non-white patients are treated. So even the mainstream example that we've heard of back in the day when Serena Williams shared her personal experience of her unequal treatment and not receiving proper care during and after giving birth. But hopefully a change is in the near future. Recently, a civil rights investigation was launched after complaints of mistreatment from Black mothers who give birth at this hospital called Cedars-Sinai
Yeah, it's a famous
Medical
hospital.
Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this comes after Charles Johnson IV filed a lawsuit against the hospital in 2022, actually, for the 2016 death of his wife, Kyra, who was at the hospital to give birth to their second son. So Kyra actually passed away from massive internal bleeding. And just before her death, her husband pleaded with medical staff to provide her with proper care because he noticed blood in her catheter. So the CDC ultimately found at this hospital, the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, several factors behind such racial disparities, which are implicit bias and structural racism. So my question to you guys, that was a mouthful. So my question to you guys is, should there be alternative healthcare and medical facilities specifically catering to people of color? Or is it more effective to continue spreading awareness about racial disparities in healthcare?
All right, let me jump in here. So, of course, that's a loaded question because
It is.
there was a time when that was the case. And it was
Yeah.
not equal.
No, you don't want two different hospitals. You don't want two different hospitals.
So I can tell you for a fact that I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to go back to
In
Black.
a different way, though.
Oh, is that
No,
right?
Because all roads lead back to it, my friend.
I'm with Robbie on this one.
Different way. No, but continue your thought, Neil. I'm sorry.
Well, wait a minute. Before we go down the rabbit hole, let's find out what your thought is on this different way. What is the different way?
So there's not the emphasis so much on segregation or segregating people, but more so catering. I would say having an alternative hospital for people of color, because we know people of color might have certain diseases that are hereditary, or certain Black doctors know what to look for in Black women childbirth. That's not so much catering to, we're segregated. This is only a Black hospital. White women can go there too. It doesn't matter. But it's more so emphasizing the Black experience.
I've always been, and this is sort of what we talked about last week, is I am a proponent of promoting Blackness because over the years it's been degraded, right? So, we grew up feeling less than, right? And promoting being Black is a good thing. But I still feel like if we want true equality, the only way to get that is to not be separating people in any way by race.
Mm-hmm.
So sure, there are disparities between Black people and white people as far as health disparities, just general health disparities in terms of Black people tend to have higher rates of high blood pressure. Sure, we get that. That's a genetic thing. But with that being said, there's nothing wrong with me having an incredible white doctor that can take care of me, who understands the genetic differences. So I'm not a fan of separating people by race in general. And I get the reason that there's a value to it, as we are not equal in America right now. With that being said, I do feel like part of the problem is we still have struggles with the way Black people are being treated in hospitals, in our healthcare system in general, which is why we see the death rates so high. You know, why we see people in hospital dying like crazy, Black people in hospital dying. So there is an actual, let me see, I have statistics for you, because you know me, I like statistics. So according to data from the CDC, average life expectancy for white Americans was 78.6 years, 2017. For Black, it's 74.8. And that went down after COVID. That was 2017. It went down after COVID. So that's a 4-year lifespan expectancy difference. And it went down after COVID. So it was even higher because we saw, and there were studies done where more Black people were dying at a higher rate during COVID than their white counterparts. There's another study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, who found that Black patients were more likely to die in the hospital than white patients. A study which analyzed data for more than 7 million hospital stays found that Black patients had a 10% higher chance of dying in the hospital than white patients. So is this civil rights investigation probably true? Absolutely. There's no question. The data just shows that there's a disparity between how Black people and white people are treated in our hospitals nationwide in the United States. So I think I answered your question. Did I? If not,
you did.
Robbie, what is your take from Canada?
I'm with you, Neo. You know, separating is a bad idea. I'm with Johnny, where we need our medical experts to have training in different ethnic backgrounds and the issues that arise with them. I know working at a med school that is definitely part of the curriculum that is instructed to our students, and I'm hoping that that's a more standard thing across the board. Initially, when you had pitched this, it was more of a focus on the maternal aspect of it, and I found some really scary stuff because it's all part of the same rabbit hole.
It is.
So CDC
It's systemic.
did a study in 2021, and Black maternal maternity rates, Black maternal mortality rates were 69.9 deaths per 100,000 live births, which is significantly higher than the white maternal mortality rate, which was 26.6 deaths. What I found really staggering was that, how's this for a tidbit? Did you know that the maternal mortality rate in the US has more than doubled over the last 30 years, despite medical advances?
I didn't know that.
Wow,
So,
I did not know that.
Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. I was looking into I was looking into some stuff that Michael Liu, who's a senior associate dean at George Washington University School of Public Health and the former director of Federal Maternal and Child Health Bureau, some very interesting quotes and factoids that came from him. In 21st century America, in the most powerful nation on earth, no woman should ever die from pregnancy and childbirth. Yet every year in the United States, more than 700 women die from pregnancy-related causes, and more than 50,000 women suffer a life-threatening complication. Nearly 1 in 3 American women of childbearing age is obese, a rate twice that in Germany and 3 times that in France, and obesity is a major risk factor for many of the leading causes of maternal deaths, such as hemorrhage, preeclampsia, thrombolism. Many women have high blood pressure, diabetes, and that makes their pregnancy
it's what we're
very
eating.
high risk. Yeah, so
It's what we eat.
and unfortunately, women of color and low socioeconomic backgrounds are at an extreme disadvantage when it comes to proper maternal care. African American women are 3 times as likely to die from pregnancy and childbirth compared to white women. And that's a gap that they haven't been able to close in decades. So I don't know what the solution is, but that gap has been there for a long time, Johnny. So I'm glad
Yeah.
that the CDC is involved. I'm glad that they're looking at this from a human rights perspective, because
Finally.
it absolutely is. If you go to the hospital, you should have the expectation that they are looking to heal you and to take care of you, regardless of your race, your creed, your gender, your ethnicity. Who cares?
Yeah.
What's it like in
You
Come in
trust
Canada?
for care. In Canada, when I looked into it a little bit further, I also did a compare and contrast and found
Yeah.
that the Indigenous population in Canada suffers from a lot of the same disparities that African Americans suffer from in the US as far as the healthcare system is concerned. So, chronic diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, respiratory illnesses. Like,
Yeah.
if you do a stare and compare, it's pretty much the same issues, with one
Similar.
glaring difference,
Mhm.
is that the Indigenous people have a unique contributor: limited access to clean water, adequate sanitation, and proper housing because of the reserve living. That is a because if you don't have clean water, well, that's the basis for life.
Mm-hmm.
You need clean water.
Mm-hmm.
So the struggle
Yeah.
is real. There are definitely marginalized groups in North America that we need to do better. There have definitely been some stories highlighting mistreatment of Indigenous patients in hospitals. Uh, they have been busted with just people recording. And when you hear how they're treated stereotypically, how some of the nurses can be so callous because this is a person of
Because they
color,
don't care.
it's
Yeah.
shocking, it's disheartening, and especially to know that it's happening in my country just as much as it is in the US. I can't point the finger and wag on this one.
You know,
Right.
I have a feeling
Right.
it's different in rural
Across the
areas
board.
because, here, I don't know that I've been treated differently because I was black versus white. I mean, I don't know. If I think about it, if I were sitting side by side between someone who was white and black, had the same issue, there is a chance that they're more likely to take care of the white person. There's a
Yeah.
chance of that. In rural areas, that's probably even more likely, right? Because
Definitely.
it's just and it's not even necessarily intentional. It's just stereotypical. It's the culture. It's the way they've been brought up to just not care as much about black and brown people. And I mean, I think it's black and brown people doing it to black and brown people as well. If they notice
It's
a
true.
white person laying in the bed next to her, they just may be more likely to care for that white person because it's just the culture in America. And it's probably the same with Indigenous in Canada. It's just, we really need to, and this is why we can't separate and why there should not be an ongoing focus on race. I know we talk about race a lot, but because there are disparities, there's obvious, clear disparities with race that we need to fix. But ultimately, the goal has to be that we are equal, that
Yeah.
we're not comparing people because there are lighter shades. Somebody has a slightly more melanin than another person, or slightly less melanin than another. Who cares? That shouldn't matter in terms of making determinations about healthcare or whatever it is. But anyway, Gianni, we'll give you a couple of minutes because we're out of time, but we didn't get your thoughts.
I do think we have a long time coming when it comes to kind of bridging this gap of equality, because how you left off kind of made me think just in general, like the point of this whole thing and what the civil rights investigations point is to hopefully have equality amongst the board for all, mothers. So I think it's going to be a long time coming, but I think as long as we provide the right examples to the next generation and the next generation, it almost do like a wash effect and just fade away or something, hopefully. But yeah, I don't think we should. I think we should stop talking about it like we do, and just prove it more. Like, thank you, civil rights investigation. This is a good step forward. I appreciate it, and I know the other women do.
I'm glad they filed it because I'm not surprised by it, and I'm sure there are many other deaths. Like I said, during COVID, I saw some other studies when I was looking up studies where they'd said during COVID it was just crazy how the numbers were so different. It was just
Yeah,
it was just
I've heard
crazy.
that too.
It was just
Mhm.
crazy.
Heard that.
All right. Is this truth, lies, or shenanigans?
Lies Shenanigans.
This is truth.
I don't know. There's
This
some
is really
shenanigans going on
happening.
in this country. It's happening.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah,
It's some
for sure.
truth. There's definitely some shenanigans in the system.
shenanigans in these hospitals, man. We need to figure that out.
Truth
because
and the shenanigans in the hospital.
I want to know
Yes.
that I'm not going into the hospital and with a minor issue and
I
come
know.
out dead in a body bag. So
And you're not listening to me, and you're not listening to our requests just because you don't like how we look. Come on now. Be a person.
all right, time to lighten it up. Let's get into our game show. All right, so today's game is
I'm so
7-second challenge. Everybody's favorite. We'll spin the wheel, and the wheel will give us a challenge to complete. And I already know them all, so I guess I'm judging you guys. So
The challenge is created by no. We get to judge
Horrible.
you. If you have to do a voice, we get to judge you.
You
my
should
friend.
do a
Fair
You get
enough.
in on this.
fair enough.
It'll be
You get in
fun.
on
I put them in. I tried to mentally prepare myself for everyone that I put in.
He's like, I'm ready.
I don't know if I'm ready.
It's
I can't say.
subjective.
I don't know that I'm
We're
ready.
gonna judge them.
We'll see.
All right. All right. So let's get into it. Let's do the first one. We'll start with Rob B. Rob B's pretty confident that he's really good at these things. So let's see.
Oh, depends on
Okay,
who the
Rob
wheel
first.
gives me. It really.
I know.
Oh, make up a song about
Oh.
disappointing ice cream. Got 7
ice cream.
seconds starting now.
See, these are
I
hard.
got some grape ice cream, but it had crappy raisins and walnuts in it. I want to throw it in some sand and add some grit. This is such a horrible ice cream.
Aw, so
Raisins and
descriptive.
walnuts in this.
That is correct. That's a good one, Robin.
I like the voice tone. All we needed
Gianni,
was a guitar.
you're up next.
Okay.
Gianni, pretend you're doing the weather, but as a pirate. Hold on, let me give you your 7 seconds. All right. Go.
Arg, there'll be arg.
All right.
A summer storm here in Atlanta, Georgia. And then when we go up to the DC area, arg,
Aria.
it'll be.
Aria.
This is so embarrassing.
That's great.
I love
I
that
just
you
want to
said
make sure you did share this on your social
arg.
media, right? That's important.
Yeah, I did.
That's
My
important.
friends have to see
Good.
this.
Good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. All right, I'm up
I
Okay,
could
next.
never be a
I'll give it
pirate.
to you, man.
Yeah, I gave it to you. That was good. It was good. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yay, Neil.
Sing the
Not Michael
ABCs as if
Jackson.
you're Michael Jackson.
Oh my
ABC,
God.
woo! Easiest 1, 2, 3,
Hey.
woo! ABC, DFG, DEFG, woo!
Now he doesn't know the alphabet. Michael does have a high pitched voice, so I guess we could give it to him, Rob. We could give it to him.
Oh, I'm
You did
giving it
good.
to
Yeah, we'll give it to him. With that little falsetto, I'll give it to him, man. It was good.
All right.
Good.
No point
It's
in ultimate knowing, but you know.
All right. Next up, Rob B.
All right.
Beatbox any song you like. So we need for this to work. We got to actually know what you're beatboxing.
Happy
Oh my
birthday.
dear
Now you can
Lord.
choose not to do
Yeah.
this, but
Yeah,
let's
okay,
go.
I guess I could do happy birthday.
Well, wait, hold on. Now you told us what it was. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, we have to guess?
No.
Oh man, it's beats. How we-
All right, let's hear the beat. Let's see if we can figure it out.
Oh,
That does not sound like happy birthday.
Like that sounds like Pink Panther a little bit. Like the Pink Panther.
I don't know, Robbie. I don't know. We might have to. What do you think, Gianni?
I didn't hear happy birthday in it, so I heard Pink Panther.
That's cool.
All right.
It's okay,
Beatboxing's not my
Robbie, all of
thing. Dang.
All right, Gianni.
Still got rhythm.
Okay.
Ooh.
Describe a new sport using elements from 3 existing sports. Gianni.
Crackerjack.
Got 7 seconds.
Okay.
Starting now.
So there's this new sport. If you guys haven't heard about it, it actually incorporates a ramp. At the top of it is a hoop, and there's also a trampoline.
Wrong answer.
Why not?
That went a little
doing
long.
skating.
But what was the
How to
sport?
describe
Out of
it?
curiosity, what was the sport called?
I didn't have a name for it. No, it's skating. It's skating, basketball, and gymnastics.
Oh
What would
no.
that be?
Okay, well let me ask Robbie. What do you think?
Parkour.
Are you giving this to her?
Well, what do I think? I think that she was describing 3 different sports to me.
That's right. I don't think she's creating a new
yeah,
sport.
I don't know. You got the weather thing, which was, we gave it to you. But now this was your opportunity to be a
This was my
sportscaster.
opportunity. Damn it.
This is your opportunity.
All right.
That one's hard.
All right. I'm up next. Let's try one.
Definitely a challenge.
All right, let's see.
Nope. Next one.
Seeing the
Next
ABCs as if you're Michael
I
Jackson.
really liked your rendition of it.
All right, we'll do another one.
Apparently.
Oh, talk like
Oh.
Obama and compliment Biden.
Compliment Biden. That's fun.
Well,
That's
Biden is the most important person in the world because he is the president of the United
oh my
States.
God.
And he, okay, I don't know.
He
A little,
kind of talk
dramatic
like
on the
that.
pauses, but I'll give it to you.
That's what he
I'll give it to
does, though. He
Okay.
pauses like
He does talk like that.
he pauses and he talks really fast. Pause, talk fast.
He pauses.
He wants to make sure
Yay.
you hear him.
All right. Well, you know what that means? That means I win the game.
What?
Is that 2 in a
How
row?
did Nia
You guys got to keep me out.
I
Yeah.
know.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Let's get
he did have a head start.
getting some shout out. All right, Johnny.
Shout out actually to my neighbor's dog. His name is Shadow, and it reminds me of my cat whose name was Shadow. It's funny, weird. But shout out to Shadow. You're so cute. He's a poodle and he's so adorable. He's all black. He's so cute.
All right, Robbie. I like that one. Shadow.
Special shout out to my Aunt Eliane and Uncle Rolly and their kids for hosting the family reunion last weekend. It was a wonderful
Aw.
time with many loved ones. It was rejuvenating. Thank you.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
All right, my shout out is to black people in hospitals right now. Good luck.
Yes.
Good luck.
Not good luck.
Good luck to you. All right.
Good luck.
All right. That is
Oh,
officially
man.
all the time we have for today's show. I'd like to thank you for joining us. We hope you learned something, maybe gained a new perspective, or simply had some laughs with us. Look for us live next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and look for our official audio episode this Friday and every Friday, almost every Friday, on Apple Podcasts, Pods Network, PODZ, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. So, winner for the final thoughts. I'm just going to dive in on this this
Crazy.
hospital, black people in hospital thing. So please,
Please be
healthcare
safe out
workers,
there.
please take care of black people too. Because
Yes.
we want to live too. Please take care of black
Yes.
people.
Yes. We deserve it.
All right. Thank you, Robbie Rock, Gianni. And of course, most importantly, we have to thank you for listening to our shenanigans each and every week. Have a great week, everyone. See you next time.